Studies show that in times of crisis, it is women who are put in charge, as Christine Lagarde put it memorably.
Whenever the situation is really, really bad, you call in the woman.
Women can break through the glass ceiling only to face situations with high risks of failure. Some people call it the glass cliff. Christine Lagarde, for example, becoming the ECB post, where she will face mounting challenges as she balances the various different competing demands between the Commission, the Parliament and the Council. Theresa May became Prime Minister in the wake of the Brexit referendum. She's only a matter of weeks away from being replaced. And Carol Bartz, well, Carol Bartz was named head of Yahoo in 2009, where she juggled sinking ad revenues and a slumping stock price out after 2.5 years. Jane Stevenson leads the global CEO succession practice at the consulting firm Korn Ferry. She joins me now from the CNN Centre in Atlanta. OK, all these women, I mean, there may be this concept of the glass cliff, but, you know, they all went for the job. It's not like they were dragooned and found. They all applied, fought hard to get to it. So what's the point?
Well, I think the point is that we need to make sure that we're utilizing and harnessing the power of women, and women are good for business. There are a lot of studies that show that gender diversity increases the value of a business and the financial results. But if women are only given the opportunity to lead glass cliff type situations where the probability for failure is extraordinarily high and it's heroism that enables success, then we really lose the opportunity to get the value of women.
I see that. But that's suggesting that somehow when these Hobbesian choices jobs come up, these phenomenally difficult, that the selection committee, usually men, only choose women because they think, well, why not? Because it's a fruitless task.
Well, wouldn't that be unfortunate?
Oh yes, right. But I'm saying, but you know, right? It would be a very unfortunate. But if its glass cliff exists, is it because no one else wants it, or those who are selecting think actually women have better talents? Which is it?
Well, I think it's a little bit of both. So, frankly, boards have to make a selection, and if they have a limited choice, they're going to take more risk and get the best risk that they think they can. And sometimes that's the only opportunity that a woman has to jump for it, and so she does. And there are a number of situations where that has been extremely successful. And if you look at Mary Barra at General Motors, if you look at a few years ago what Angela Ahrendts did at Burberry, if you look at a number of situations other than that, there are a lot of really successful situations as well. In fact, we looked at 57 women CEOs in our Women CEOs Speak study funded by Rockefeller that really showed an inordinately high capability set. In fact, when we looked at those 57 women against our best-in-class CEO norms, they scored at the 99th percentile or above. So it's not a strictly dismal story.
I can certainly see and agree that this idea that women have to believe and perceived that they have to perform further, harder and faster and better because they've got to prove themselves at a level that perhaps men seemingly do not. But does that mean they're being set up for failure? And if they are, and if they are being set up for failure, say, for example, Theresa May, she came in with one job to get Brexit done, and she's failed by her own definition. But Christine Lagarde has been a tremendous success at the IMF and World Bank, arguably less so as a finance minister of France.
Well, I think there are two issues at hand here. One is that when there are so few women in top leadership positions, they're a bit of an endangered species, right? There's 6% on the best year, and it's been 4 to 6% over the last 5 years, depending on what moment in time you look at it. And the fact is that these are scarce resources. And in the business world, if we were looking at other kinds of assets, we would want to leverage those and we would want to make them count. So there's an opportunity here for businesses to actually look at women earlier on. What we've found in the Women CEOs Speak study is that there are some key traits and characteristics that can be identified actually as early as late 20s and early 30s. And if organizations look at those potential characteristics, and they're able to actually build the strength of operating capabilities in real jobs, I think we'll see a very different result, and we'll see more women succeeding and in larger numbers.